Hi boys and girls, today with you on how to divide decimals. Now we are working on this in class. I pulled a review with your foldable that's in your man. Remember the steps to is we're going to set it up just like a regular division problem. We have our out 1.6 and then we have our inside. Now we cannot divide by a decimal, so we need to do a whole number. Now remember, in a calculator you can divide by a decimal, but when we're doing by a whole number. So in order to move this over, multiply by powers of 10. Okay, so we need to move the decimal 0 in 10. So 1.6 times 10 would actually give us, so we moved it over 1. So whatever we do to the divisor, we have to do to the dividend. And I'm going to move it over one place by multiplying by the power decimal point straight up, and then you just begin just like you would normally divide. Now remember in class today we were talking about divide. Remember, when you are dividing, I have by 25 hundredths, your answer is actually going to become a whole number, okay? Because I'm taking 50 cents and I'm seeing how many 25 cents of that. So I have one group of 25 cents and another group of 25. This is our area model, and this is out of this 100 units makes old. I can get two groups of 25 hundredths pence. So remember, your answer is going to become a whole number. Now we're going to actually go over dividing decimals, okay? And we talked about multiplying decimals by a power of tens. We also can divide decimals by powers of tens as we did in our other notes, okay? So if you have 10,000, okay, you have 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. So this would equal to 10 to the fourth power. Okay, now since it's 10 to the fourth power, that means that we're going to divide our 34.9 times 10,000. All I have to do is take 34.9 and write it down, okay, and then I'm going to move it to the left the number of zeros we have, or whatever the number the exponent is. Remember, the exponent tells you how many thousand. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I have to fill in those spaces with place value holders. So my final answer is 0.00349. Okay, so we moved it 4 spaces. Now that's a lot easier than dividing by 10,000, isn't it? All right, number 2, I have 8.751 divided by 2.3. Okay, now remember, as I'm going along, if you need to pause the video to get caught up, you can always pause the video. All right, I'm going to multiply by 10 because I need to move this decimal one space over to make it a whole number. So whatever I do to my divisor, I'm going to do to my dividend. I'm going to move it over, multiply by 10 one space, and move it straight up. Okay, so unlike multiplying decimals, we wait and we move the decimal at the very end. When we're dividing decimals, we work with that decimal right away. Okay, all right, so we have 23 into 87. 23 into 87. 23, I'm going to think about how many 20s can go into 87 without going over. So 20, 40, 60. Okay, I'm going to think it's about 3 times because I have a little bit more than 20. So 3 times 3 is 9 and 3 times 2 is 6. Sorry about that. It's 69. All right, so I'm going to regroup. 17 minus 9 is 8 and 7 minus 6 is 1. And I'm going to see, is 18 less than 23? If so, that means I have a reasonable remainder. I'm going to bring down the 5, 23 into 185. So once again, I'm going to think about how many 20s can go into 180. I'm going to try 8 times. 8 times 3 is 24. Regroup the 2. 8 times 2 is 16, and we get 18. So we did pretty good on that one. We get a remainder of 1. Okay? Now we're going to bring down our 1. Now, 23 goes into 11 only 0 times. So now we have to add a 0 because remember we want to divide to the thousandths place, okay? If we don't get a remainder of 0 to the thousandths place, then we're going to round to the nearest hundredths place. So 23 and 110 is probably about let's see, I'm going to say 4 times. So 4 times 3 is 12, 92, and we get a remainder of 18. Now I'm going to stop there, okay? I want to use this 4 to tell me whether I'm going to round up to 3.80, or round down to 3.80, or round up to 3.81. Since it's 4 and below, my answer is going to stay at 3.80. Okay, next one. Number 3, we have 9 hundredths divided by 4 and 8 tenths. Once again, I can annex this 0 because I don't want to have to worry about that. Okay, I don't need to put that into my problem. Remember, annex means to take away. So I need to get 4.8 to a whole number, so I'm going to multiply by 10. Because I'm going to move it 1 space. So now I'm going to move it 1 space here and move it straight up. Okay? Now, can we take 48 into 0? No, we can't. Can we take 48 into 9? No. Now we're going to add a 0. Okay, we need to add a place value holder. And this is what they talked about in the directions of the other one. You're either going to add zeros or you're going to annex zeros. Now 48 into 90 only goes 1, so I get 48. I get 2, 42 as a remainder. Okay, is 42 less than 48? Yes, it is. So I'm going to add a 0 because I have to go to the... Now, how many times will 48 go into 42? Let's try 8 times. 8 times 8 is 64. Regroup the 6. 8 times 4 is 32. Plus 6 is 38. Let's try that and subtract and see if we get less than 48. Okay, we get 6. And remember, we can always erase and start again. And we get 36. So 36, yes, is less than 48. But remember, I can stop there because I'm going to use this one to help me round. Okay, so is it 4 and below or is it 5 and greater? So since it's 5 and greater, we're going to get an answer of 0.02. Okay, once again, we have number 4. Number 4 is multiplying by a power of 10. So this power of 10, we have 2 zeros, so it's going to be 10 to the second power. Remember, that power, that exponent tells you how many tens or how many zeros you have. So I'm just going to write down 12.77. Okay, these are fun. So we're going to make it smaller because we're dividing. Remember, when we divide, it goes smaller. And we have 2 zeros, so we're going to move the decimal to the left, 1, 2, because remember, dividing means smaller, and we get 0.1277. All right, the next one, number 5. Okay, hundredths divided by 22.7. So a little bit bigger numbers here. Once again, like I said, if you need to pause the video and rewind and watch again, you can pause the video. All right, I need to multiply by 10 to make it a whole number. So I'm going to multiply by 10 here and make it a whole number and move that number straight up. Okay, 227 into 250 is 1. So I'm going to subtract, and I get 3. I get 23. And then I'm going to bring down the 6. 227 into 236 goes 1 time again. So we're seeing how many 22 7/10 can we get out of 2506. So right now we're getting 1 out of it, which makes sense, doesn't it? Because at 22 out of 25 is only going to get 227. We're going to subtract and we get 9. Okay, 9 is definitely less than 227, so our answer is reasonable. We're going to add a 0. We can't take 227 into 9, so we have to add another 0. Don't forget to put your place value holder up there, 1 0, and bring down the next 0. And then we have 227. Let's try 3 times and see what happens. 3 times 7 is 21. Regroup the 2. 3 times 2 is 6 is 8. And then 3 times 2 get as a remainder. Okay, we regroup. We get 9. And this is 9 because this is 89 because we're taking 1 away from 90, which gives you 89. 9 minus 8 is 1. And then 8 minus 6 is 1. I'm sorry, 8 minus 6 is 2. There we go. You can tell it's after school for Coach Jones. So it's 219, which is definitely less than 227. But now that we've gotten to the thousands place, we're going to use that number. Are we going to round up or down? And since it's 10. Now, once again, you could annex that 0, which would also be 1.1 would be your answer. Okay? Now, the next one is really fun. Watch this. Okay? We're going to divide by 1 thousandths. So we have 0.0001. I want you to try to predict in your head what would be the answer to this. What is going to happen when we divide by 1 thousandths? So we have 9,987.6. Now, I have to multiply by 1, 2, 3. I'm sorry, I put 1 too many zeros. 1 thousandth. Let's try this again. Multiply by 1,000 because I need to move it 1, 2, 3 places. So now I'm going to multiply this one by 1,000. 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to have to add a 0 on the end. And now what am I dividing by? I can annex these 2 zeros now, and I'm dividing by 1. Look at that. 1 into 9 is 9. 1 into 9 is 9. 8, 7, 6, 7, 0. So basically, we're just moving the decimal over. Excuse me. 6, 7, 1, 2, 3. And how many zeros did I have? 1, 2. Our answer. All right. I hope this helps you going on with multiplying and dividing decimals and problem solving. I hope you have a wonderful evening, and thank you for watching my very first ever video. Thank you. See you tomorrow.